Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. Another episode, of course, another reason to love your HBCU.
Yes.
Let's get right to it.
Right.
We're talking about relationships and the challenges of navigating relationships. I know where this is coming from when you guys threw this at us as the subject matter that we should discuss.
Yes.
But let's start with this. When you think about relationships in 2025, and I'm not even going to tell you what kind of relationships, because when you guys threw it at me, you didn't say, hey, Dr. Tosin, go romantic, go familial. You just threw relationships at me.
Right.
When you think about relationships, Madison, in 2025, what one word? Close your eyes. Relationships, what's the word that comes to mind immediately?
Transactional.
Easy.
Easy.
Give me more. Why?
Okay.
She went straight to transactional. Lord have mercy. Okay.
I feel like romantic and platonic, everybody wants something out of a relationship. And that's completely fine. Yes, a relationship should serve you, but I do strongly feel like our generation has prioritized what can I get out of this person. And so there's a lot of people who will be around people that they don't even like, but because they get benefits and perks and societal, like, social climbing, they'll keep them around. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Madison, you are literally summoning images of humans in my head when we talk. Because the minute you said that, I did think about two people that I know who I always question and the people around them, because I wonder, do you really like him?
Right.
Or are you associating with him because of what you believe you can get out of him, even if not today, sometime in the near future? And that makes me sad, because I like to be around people because I like them, or because we have a mutual respect of each other, not because I can get something out of you. You went straight to transactional.
Right to the jugular.
What? I'm going to ask it, and I'm curious to hear your answer.
Okay.
What is one relationship myth you were raised with that no longer serves you?
Honestly, for me, it would have to be don't depend on a man. And I understand, yes, I'm not advocating for women to absolutely depend on a man for everything and their livelihood, but I definitely feel as if I'm okay now with being able to, okay, let me sit back. If you want to do that for me, go ahead. Letting people do what they want to do as long as it respects me. Yes. Okay. I don't have to do it all. I don't have to be the strong, independent Black woman that society tells me I have to be. No, I'm actually going to sit back and I'm going to let you do that. Thank you. And can you get that while you're on your way?
Madison, if you find it disrespectful, do not answer. Don't give me your age. I do not like asking people their exact age. I don't think it's any of my business. But give me a range. Are you in your early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s?
I'm in my early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yes.
I asked that question very particularly, right?
Okay.
I when I was an undergrad, right, I always used to say, I don't need a man, I want a man. There's a difference.
There's a difference, yeah.
And that's the first thing I thought of when you said what you just said. I have bought my own houses. I have bought my own cars.
Okay.
I am quite financially secure, might I bad. I just happen to be. I'm good with money. I'm good with money.
That's
I'm
good.
one of those human beings. But please put that but in bold, underline, italicize, whatever you need to do to highlight it.
Mm-hmm.
I am perfectly okay with a man taking care of me. And I say that with intent because when people see me, they envision this hyper independent black
Yes.
woman who does not need a man.
You
And you
get
might be
that.
right. I don't need you. But just because I don't need you does not mean I don't want you. Now let's go back to why I asked you your age, right?
Okay.
Your generation, it's shocking to me that that would be your perspective too. Because your generation, if we thought we were independent and we were, I can do this, that, your
Yeah.
generation took it to a whole nother level. But I'm hearing you say that it is a myth for you that you don't need a man.
That's correct. Yeah. Honestly, I feel as if I can I can do anything I need to do by myself and getting to that point where I'm secure to be alone, and I know you understand like having that own independence. But like you say, okay, I could use the help. Why, if it's there, why not? Why make my life harder? And I feel as if that's where the whole soft girl, soft life comes from. It's like you don't necessarily need someone to do these things, but if they're gonna be in your life, might as well make it easier. Come on now. Might as well.
Listen, everyone knows I get excited about the rapid fire questions. I am
Me
just as
too.
excited to delve into some of the subjects that I've already heard you kind of sprinkle in your commentary from earlier. So
Mhm.
let's get to the rapid fire very
All
quickly
right.
so that we can get to the meat of the conversation. So
Rapid fire.
67 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right.
Soft launch or hard post?
The softest launch. The softest launch ever. I'm not posting my man until our reception after the wedding.
Date your friend or keep it platonic?
I would say none of my super close friends, but if the opportunity arise where I had the opportunity to get to know someone new, okay. I'll
Okay.
explore that.
Okay. Emotional chemistry or physical attraction?
Emotional chemistry all day.
Finish this sentence. A healthy
Okay.
relationship feels like.
Boring.
A healthy
Boring.
relationship feels like boring. I'll
Very
take it.
boring. Yeah.
I need to find out what that means. I need to
Yeah.
find out what that means. I need to find out what that means. Oh, oh, oh,
I'll
oh,
tell you.
oh.
Yeah.
15 seconds, 15
Oh,
seconds,
oh, okay.
15 seconds. Good morning texts or late night calls?
Late night calls.
Late night
Late night
calls.
calls.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Private, I think I know the answer to this.
Hmm.
Private
Private.
relationship or low key but loud love?
Private relationship.
Private relationship, private
Yeah.
relationship. And time. Okay,
Time. Woo. We did good.
we did good, but let's get very, very, very quickly. I
Okay.
said, finish the sentence. A healthy relationship feels like boring.
Boring.
Break that down. You don't want your relationship to be healthy?
No, I want it to be healthy. That means okay. For me. For me. See, you're
Okay,
catching
break it
on.
down.
You're catching
Break it down.
for
Break it
for
down. Break it
me,
down.
and especially the way my brain and my heart is wired. It's used to chaos, but that chaos stems from my childhood. And from me doing the work, I realized that when I feel those butterflies, that's really anxiety for me. It's not butterflies. I'm actually anxious. So for
Wow.
me, I learned that when I'm bored and when I have nothing to say, because especially like if I'm feeling those butterflies, I look for, okay, there has to be something, and I start self-sabotaging. So for me, if I feel like, all right, well, I have nothing to say. He's giving me nothing to complain about. I'm he's consistent. Like, oh, like he actually is showing effort. Like, it's like, all right, it's the thrill, it's the adrenaline. It's no longer there. Those butterflies, that anxiety, that pit in my stomach is no longer there. My chest is no longer heavy. I'm bored. But I've learned to sit with that, and that means that it's healthy for me. Yeah.
Listen, like,
See,
knock on me, okay? My mind went somewhere else, but I listen. I love the maturity with which you broke that down. I've never heard anybody, nobody in all my 40 something years on earth, I'm very serious. I've never heard anyone describe the butterflies as anxiety.
yeah. It's like the rose-colored
That's
glasses, like,
That's wow. I know I'm not the only one that's going to hear that and say, hold on. I
mhm,
need to take a little bit more I need to pay attention to this a little bit more.
yeah,
And what exactly is that feeling? I'm not saying it's going to be anxiety for everybody, but what
right,
exactly
yeah.
is that feeling? What are
Mhm,
those butterflies and what does it resonate with regards to the kind
exactly.
of person that I am?
Mhm,
That struck a chord for me in so many different respects. So I absolutely respect that a healthy relationship for
yes.
you feels like boring. I love it. Listen, you are an amazing student at an HBCU, and I'm curious, does campus culture make
Oof.
monogamy hard, or it just makes it more visible?
I personally feel like it's the individual's intentions on what they want to do. I don't want to just put a whole blanket term over everyone. Everyone's different. Some people want to be monogamous, some people don't. And that's okay. I feel like it's about finding someone that aligns with you. And even if
Mm.
that means, hey, we mess with each other and also not be exclusive, and we agree on those terms, that those are two consenting adults. That has nothing to do with Madison Council. So, yeah.
I hear you. We had Brandy Tate. She is
Mhm.
an executive at ESPN. We had her on in season 2, and I'll never forget her giving advice to the listeners, and especially directed at students. And her exact words were, "Leave that man at home. Like, break up with that man. Like literally." And what she shared was, and I actually think it goes along with what you just said to a
Yeah.
degree. If you are a freshman in college and it's your first time away from home, living on a college campus, I'm not saying you can't love that man down. I'm not saying that. Or
Right.
person. I'm not saying you can't
Mm.
love that person down.
Right.
But what we find is that most of you are all up in their faces, even when they're not on campus.
Not going to class.
Not going to class,
Clock
making sure
it.
you're home every single weekend, making sure this, making sure that. And
Yeah.
what I've learned, especially with the heterosexual relationships, no offense, guys, the guy isn't doing all of that. It's often the woman that is
Yeah.
like boom, boom, boom.
Just
And I
like,
think that's why Brandy said, break up with him and enjoy your collegiate years. And
mhm.
who knows, you guys may still end up together and it was meant to be, or you may not,
That's what I
or you
did.
may not. Are you still with him?
No, I broke up with him before I went to
She said,
school. Full transparency. I was honest with him. I was like, "Hey, like I'm going to college. I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be able to explore. I've never cheated a day in my life, knock on wood." I don't subscribe to that belief system, but I didn't even want to limit myself to the possibilities of that idea. I'm a hopeless romantic. I told him, I'm like, if we're meant to be, we will find each other. And now he's in a happy relationship. I'm happy for him. And yeah, life is great.
Good for you. Good for you. Ooh, I've got to ask this question. I do not know what your romantic dating history has been. Do
Mhm.
you believe in staying friends with your exes? And especially as a college student on campus where it is very likely you're going to run into this person all willy-nilly. Do you
Right.
remain friends or do you just shut that door with a steel trap behind it?
I don't believe in remaining friends. I am learning the art of forgiveness. Okay. I have the coldest shoulder known to man, and it takes it takes a very hard time for people to get on that side. But you can ask, there has been people that I've dealt with my freshman year. I walk right past, like, I don't know you. I don't. It's like the level, it has to get to a certain level of like disrespect. But no, I've grown up and matured, and I have went back to those people and said, "Hey, what I did wasn't mature, and it was immature. And even if you're not my favorite person, you're still a human being, and I respect you for that." You know, especially with my belief system, I am a Christian. I was like, that's not very godly of me. Let me go back, right my wrongs. And they were very receptive to what I was saying. And it made me feel happy, like, okay, there's okay to it's okay to grow, it's okay to change, and it's okay to hold yourself accountable. So now I see that person, hey, keep it pushing. That don't mean we best friends. You're not coming over, we're not hanging out, but hi, I hope your day's going well. Yeah,
That's very mature.
I
I have not
try.
reached that. I have not reached that level of maturity yet, and I'm
Hard.
unapologetic about that.
Mm,
Good on you. Good on you for getting that. Wait. Let me quickly address what I just said, because listen, there are a couple of my friends that are like, Tosin. Um, and no, I do not remain like you. I do not remain friends with
mm,
any of my exes.
no,
It's an intentional thing, but it's not because it's not because I've made enemies. Sorry, it's not because there's enmity between us. It's
of
just a
course.
rule of mine that
Yeah,
once we are done, and we do not have to remain friends. I actually think that there's a potential for it to cause discord in their next relationships, and so because of that it is a little easier, if you will, that we just clean break and be good. So, okay.
yeah,
In my day, when you went to college, there was an expectation, Madison, that you were
yeah.
walking out with a college degree as well as the other degree, i.e., Mrs. Whatever.
Mm,
What do you think that that pressure is gone in your generation? Or is that still a thing that there's an expectation that you're going to find your soulmate when you go to college and you'll be getting married shortly thereafter?
Listen, we call it the HBCU love story. And yes, it is very much still a thing. And even though everyone wants to act so nonchalant and hard and, oh, I don't need anyone, and I want to mess with who I want to mess with, I'm a shark. When it comes down to Thanksgiving, they're like, all right, well, it's time to bring somebody home. Like, my family is
Aww.
about to start asking. So I feel like a lot of, honestly, as much as, do you know what sharking is?
I don't. Please
It's
teach
it's just
me.
it's just being a player. As much as so many people
Oh.
in my generation likes to have their options open, have entertain multiple people, I feel like a lot of people that they more than they like to admit are actually lovers and genuinely just want love. But our relationships and our societal relationships has made it so complicated with so many rules and theories and just the manipulation. People are scared. People are genuinely scared. But no, especially in HBCUs, that bring someone home to mom, that mentality is definitely still there. Yeah.
There's a part of me that finds that quite romantic.
Yeah.
The latter part, i.e., they still want that soft space to land, is what I call it.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of me that is indifferent towards it altogether. Now, where I'm headed next, you're not going to expect. It
All
just popped
right.
into my head,
Okay.
and I said, I'm going to ask. And this is because of the word shocking that you just mentioned, right?
Okay.
So OnlyFans is a thing. Your
Mhm.
generation has made OnlyFans like a real thing.
Yeah.
And lately, I don't think I have heard of any at any of our HBCUs, thank you, Jesus. But lately I've heard of different college students who have OnlyFans accounts,
Okay.
and they proudly talk about how many humans that they bedded, slept with, had intimacy or intimate reactions with for money, by the way. But they have partners. In most cases, this has been heterosexual, so they still have boyfriends. I think your generations, I know, listen, those who are just listening are like, why all that silence? It's all these faces that Madison and I were making at each other as I'm trying to even understand the words that just came out of my mouth. I'm trying to understand it. I don't even know
Yeah.
if I fully understand all the words that came out of my mouth. And it might not be mine to understand. I think I should put that out there as well. I am a little confused though. And I was wondering if anybody could enlighten me on the normalcy. And I'm calling it normalcy because I read up, I see a flash, a news flash of one
Mm-hmm.
young lady after another. And it seems as if they're really proud of how many numbers they can bed within like an hour or a 24-hour period.
Right.
But you still have, is this new age prostitution? Because that's the way I see it. But
Yeah.
again, please school me, because I don't think it's fair to just call it prostitution. Help
Mm-hmm.
me understand, because I don't get it at all, like at all.
Wow. All right. Let's get into it. In my opinion, it is new age modern prostitution. And it is also still something I feel as if we should, have laws for to protect people who choose to do that. Some people feel differently about it, but when it comes to that, honestly, I feel like it boils down to the adult. As long as the person is an adult, I have my own beliefs and views on womanhood and what feminism means to me, and
Mm-hmm.
empowerment. Some people do things like that in terms of, oh, I'm empowered, I stick it to the man,
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
each his own, to each his own. That's not for me to judge. However, I do feel like that has become a very normalized thing. And just like how with social media, people have seen, all right, people are really skyrocketing off of capitalizing off of digital marketing products, or selling courses, or, you know, if I can use my body to do that, and especially
Wow.
knowing it's like they're trying to capitalize off of men's or people. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm,
single
mm-hmm,
out men.
mm-hmm.
They're trying to
Sure, sure.
capitalize off of lust, and sex sells. I'm sorry. That's why so many female artists are, when they get into the industry, they're then turned into this sex symbol when that's not how they started off in their hometown, and that might not have been their vision. But
Mm.
unfortunately, sex sells. And when people find that, okay, there's a sex appeal, there's money in that. And a lot of people, especially women, have now began to capitalize off of that. Hence why a
Yeah.
lot of strippers are lesbians.
You went left. Help me, help. You
No,
went
I know.
left.
I'm
You
just
went left.
saying,
Help me
I'm
understand
saying
the
that to
leap.
say.
Like connect the dots for me. Connect the dots for me. She's like, that's why a lot of strippers are lesbians. Connect the dots for me. I didn't say that. Madison did. I was just repeating what Madison said.
That's what I
Connect the
said.
dots for me.
Yes, I'll elaborate. A lot of the strip club is a very male dominated club, a very male dominated third space. Okay. A lot of strippers end up being lesbian, or they are lesbians. And so that just goes to prove into my point that women are simply capitalizing off of lust and off
Oh,
of a
okay.
fantasy that they know that a lot of men like. Regardless, they don't even care if they're a lesbian. Like, if you're painting this fantasy for them, if you're selling this
Yeah.
image to them, they don't care what you like, who you like. You could like everyone under the sun as long as they're gaining from it. It's like a transactional, you win-win. But these women go back home to their wives or their girlfriends or partners, And, so it's just that's the connection, just to capitalize off of yourself.
So, hmm, s- I'm 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 grateful that you used the word transaction again,
Yes.
because that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And I think a good number of them just see it as a business at this point,
It
which
is.
made me wonder, because you mentioned feminism earlier on, and I used feminism theory and feminist theory
Right.
in my research when I was in grad school quite a bit. Um, should we be celebrating it? And I pause as I ask that question, because if you look at the very basic definition of feminism is the power of choice.
Yes.
We don't talk about what the choice is, it's just the power of choice.
Mhm.
And what we both, more you than I, have described is a woman's right to choose that that's what I'm going to use my body to do.
Yeah.
And since this platform has become a thing that allows me, in so many words, to dictate the rules of engagement
Yes.
for a transactional exchange,
Mhm.
why not celebrate it?
You know, I feel as if women should have the right to celebrate exactly anything that they're doing that they're proud of themselves for doing. Even if I don't agree with it, like we said, that has nothing to do with me. But on the flip side, I do strongly believe that just as much as you're showing the glamorous parts of that lifestyle, I do feel as if we need to show the reality of what's going on, especially within sex work, because there's a lot of women who day after day lives are putting in jeopardy, and it's not talked about. Women who are being killed for these jobs, for that transaction, for trying to sell that fantasy. So, just as much as we show the money and the luxury and the glam, and I got flew out to this in Dubai, and we need to show the reality
Hmm.
of, okay, if this is what you choose to do as a consenting adult, this is
Yeah.
also a possibility of what could happen. And just as much as we are showing this, like, we also need to show doctors, we need to show lawyers, plumbers, we need to show different jobs. I feel as if it's like a just like how it's a everybody wants to not work and stick it to the man. And so it's like that instant gratification. You have to think, how am I going to get there? Everybody, like everyone can't be a content creator. Everyone can't be an OnlyFans model. That's still a business. Especially OnlyFans, that's still a business. You need to have discipline to post. You need to be okay with people commenting on your body. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just having sex with people. Sex workers, that's still real work. That's hard work, but yeah, we need to have those conversations, and especially put laws into place where kids aren't being affected.
Mm.
And that's the major thing for me, because it's such a slippery slope. If you're going to promote this, promote it in a right space where kids mainly aren't going to be. And if kids are there, that's why I also show them, hey, it's not always glitz and glam. There's some nights, if you're a stripper, you might go home with $2. Show that.
So we pivoted hard. My fault, not yours.
It's okay.
The minute you said shocking, my mind just went, and as you expounded on what shocking was, my mind went there, and I said, listen, I've got to go there. So maybe there was a little bit of oversharing. But speaking of oversharing, do you think that, because the age of social media has us sharing everything online, everything.
Everything. I know.
Um, Before I even get to what your thoughts are on if oversharing is damaging relationships, I'm
Mm,
curious to hear what your thoughts are, because I'm learning in conversation with you
okay.
that even though you are Gen Z, you may not necessarily ascribe entirely to all things that we typically think of Gen Zers.
Yeah, no.
So, how do you think social media has changed the way build, maintain, and also destroy relationships. So, social media, what role do you think it has had in building, maintaining, and I'm going to say destroying relationships as
Yeah.
well?
Honestly, I feel like social media has taken such a detrimental attack, I would say, on relationships. Um, I feel as if there's a lot of comparison, because like social media is not real. And a lot of people know that, but when it really gets down to it, people don't understand that. And people don't use that in their day to day life. When you're looking at this girl who just got this Lamborghini from her boyfriend and he pays for all of her bills, and you don't know what's going on in reality. You don't know. We
Mhm.
don't know what's happening. And so a lot of people are comparing themselves, and just like comparison is definitely the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And that's why I say an attack on relationships, because having that discipline and that discernment to say, okay, this isn't real, or I don't know the nuance of the situation. I don't know what she could be doing, because a lot of sugar babies, they'll be like, oh, I get all this money and I don't have to do anything but hang out on the phone. That's not real all the time. That's just not everyone's situation. And so it paints this picture of such an unrealistic view on society of relationships and how it should be. And now we have people who don't have that discernment to say, okay, I need to go touch grass, or I need to put my phone down and go appreciate my partner, or just get to know them more. It's a, well, why can't you do this? They did that. Or I want to go here because this boyfriend took his girlfriend here. It's just a lot of comparison, like anything else. Yeah.
My sigh is I have never been a fan of social media. Those who know me know this. One of my former students was the one that literally created my very first Instagram for me. And he pretty much forced me to do it. He didn't force me to do it. He created it and said, "Here's your Instagram page." So it's not even forcing it. He just created it. And I've struggled with social
Mhm.
media. Um I for several reasons. I feel that I went through a phase where social media was bad
Mhm.
and social media is to be blamed for everything under God's green earth.
Right.
And then I also said, wait, hold on, there's accountability.
Of
Hold on.
course.
There is there are good things. As much as there are a lot of bad things about social media, there are also really good things about social
Yes.
media. Um But and I'm sighing because I wanted to explain that this has been a journey for me with social media.
Mhm.
I think this is just
Okay.
my viewpoint now. When it comes to relationships, especially, and I'm going to say romantic relationships especially,
Mhm.
and maybe even friendships, and not just romantic relationships, maybe even
I
friendships.
think, yeah. Okay.
I think social media has been a whole lot more hurtful than helpful. And I'll give you one particular example with regards to, and this could be familial as well as friendships.
Okay.
I saw two siblings going at it on social media because one did not wish the other happy birthday on social media. And I said, hold on, you're siblings.
Mhm.
My hope is that you have this person's number
Yeah.
and you could reach out to that person directly. So, where is the offense? And why is there offense taken that my sister Madison did not wish me happy birthday on social media, even though my sister Madison probably called me and said, "Hey, sis, happy birthday."
Exactly.
There's no question here. It's just a reflection.
That's real,
And it's a
honestly.
sad reflection
It
that
is.
we've given social media, I think, this. presence and importance and value in
Mm-hmm.
our lives that I don't necessarily think it deserves. I think it should just be a channel. So if we want to use social media to keep in touch and strengthen relationships, fine.
Yes.
But I don't see that that's what happens most of the time when it comes to relationships and social media.
Yeah.
Um, Madison, what is something you wish you knew? And I know you talked about relationships being timely and seasonal earlier on, but
Mm.
what is something you wish you knew about relationships much earlier in your life that you appreciate knowing now?
That
And I
people.
and I've got one.
Okay, you have one?
Yeah, but go first.
Okay. I would say people act and move and align with their priorities. That has been one of the biggest lesson of my early 20s, honestly. Once I realized that and even reflected with on myself, it really showed me a lot about where I fall into people's worlds. Because I'm not on everybody's pedestal, and that's completely fine. Everyone's not on my pedestal priority list. So, yeah, that was very transformative for me to learn. So I wish I knew that earlier if I had to learn something earlier.
I'm smiling so hard because I think I'm about to say almost exactly the same thing you said, but a slightly differently.
Ooh.
Because I literally was going to say I wish I knew a lot earlier that I needed to prioritize me in
Yes.
relationships,
Yes.
regardless of the relationship, by the way.
Absolutely.
I was always on the other end of other people's prioritized relationships, and they
Yeah.
always, of course, prioritized them. And I used to dislike them for it.
Mm,
And that's what was wrong. I should not have disliked them for it. I should have been prioritizing myself as well.
yeah.
And if in Madison prioritizing herself and Tosin prioritizing herself,
Mm-hmm.
we aligned, then
Yeah.
it would have made a beautiful relationship. And I
Absolutely.
did not do that as much. I want to also add this. I always, not always, but I share a lot of tidbits that I get from my father. My
Mm.
father has accused me of not loving myself once.
Oh, how
And
did that make you
I'm not
feel?
ashamed. It made me feel like crap, Madison.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, ooh, how did that make me feel? My father said to me once, he looked at me dead in the face and he said, Tosin, do you love yourself? And this is a true story. When he watches this episode, he's going to be like, you shared that. Yes, I did.
That's so
He's
brave.
like, Tosin, do you love yourself? And I was like, in my head, I was like, of course I
Of
do.
course. Of course. Like,
And my dad said, I don't know, Tosin. I don't see you advocating for yourself like I think you should.
mm,
If this were me, this is my dad speaking. He's like, if anything ever happened to me, the person I'm going to want in my corner is you. Because I
yeah.
know you're going to advocate for me like crazy.
Yeah.
And I see you advocating for people all the time. But I don't see you advocating for yourself as much. And that concerns me. So
Mm,
that's the first thing he said. It sent me down a long journey
yeah.
of self-awareness
I can only
and the
imagine.
definition of self-love.
Yes.
So I happen to be a Christian, so I definitely ascribe to what we call the Holy Book and what the Holy Book says.
Amen.
And I cannot quote it well, but there is a verse in the Bible that says, love your neighbor as yourself. And my dad keeps on reminding me of the word as. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
Tosin, if you don't know what loving yourself looks and feels like, why do I want you to love me as
Wow.
that?
Mm,
Now,
wow.
Madison, I've heard that verse
Right.
over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But until he pinpointed that little word, AS, I just thought, we're supposed to be good Christians, loving people and, being kind to others and blah, 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 blah. We're supposed to be loving ourselves loving others as we love ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Madison, end this for me, right? End this episode for me in one word or phrase. Love doesn't mean losing.
Your self-respect.
I love it. I love
Yep.
it. On that note, Madison, this has been amazing. I look forward to our next chat. Yours in HBCU love. See you
Yes.
next episode.
Bye. Thank you.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU ? Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.